What is an abstract class? A class which is declared an abstract is known as an abstract class. It can have abstract and non-abstract method. It needs to be extended and its method implemented. And an abstract class must have declared with an abstract keyword, and it cannot be instantiated. It can have constructor and static methods also, and it can have final methods which will force the subclass not to change the body of the method. Example of the abstract class. Abstract class bank. This line defines an abstract class name bank. Abstract int get rate of interest. Inside the bank class there's an abstract method get rate of interest method which does not have any implementation and is meant to be overridden by its subclasses. Class SBI extends bank. This line defines a subclass named SBI which extends the bank class, meaning SBI inherits from bank. Int get rate of interest method return 7. Inside the SBI class there is a method get rate of interest method which overrides the method of the same name in the bank class. In this implementation it returns the interest rate specific to SBI which is 7%. And class PNB extend bank. This line defines another subclass named PNB which also extends the bank class. Int rate get rate of interest return 8. Inside the PNB class there's a method get rate of interest method which overrides the method from the bank class. Here it's return the interest rate specific to PNB which is 8%. Class test bank. This line defines a new class named test bank. And public static void main string arguments. This line defines the main method which is the entry point of the Java program. Bank B declares a reference variable B of type bank which can refer to objects of any subclass of bank. B equals to new SBI method instantiates an object of the SBI class and assigns it to the variable B. And the bank reference variable B is referring to an object of the subclass SBI. And the next line system.out.println rate of interest is B dot get rate of interest method prints out the interest rate returned by the get rate of interest method of the object referred to by B. B equals to new PNB method assigns a new object of the PNB class to the variable B. And last line is a system.out.println rate of interest is B dot get rate of interest method prints out the interest rate returned by the get rate of interest method of the new object referred to by B. In this example, reference variable of the superclass type bank can refer to objects of its subclasses SBI and PNB. And next question is, what is an exception in Java? Illustrate with an example. An exception is an event that disrupts the normal flow of the program, and it is an object which is thrown at runtime. And exception can occur for various reasons, such as trying to open a file that does not exist, dividing a number by 0, or attempting to access an array index that is out of bounds. Example of an exception. First is public class example. This line defines a public class named example. Public static void main string arguments. This line defines the main method which serves as the entry point of the Java program. Next, try. This line starts a try block which is used to console the code that may potentially throw an exception. Next, int result equals to divide 10, 0. This line calls the divide method with argument 10 and 0 and assign the result to variable result. This line may throw an arithmetic exception if the divisor is 0. And next is a system.out.println and result. This line prints the value of result to the console if no exception occur. Next line is a catch arithmetic exception. This line starts the catch block which is used to catch and handle exception. Here it catches arithmetic exception. And the next line is system.out.println. An arithmetic exception occurred. e.get message. This line prints a message indicating that an arithmetic exception occurred along with the message provided by the exception e.get message method. And next is a public static in dividend and in divisor. This line defines a public static named divide which takes two parameters, dividend and divisor, and the next is a return dividend divided by divisor. This line performs integer divisions of dividend by divisor and returns the result. If divisor is 0, it will throw an arithmetic exception. The divided method is called within a try block, and any potential arithmetic exception that occurs during the division operation is caught and handled in the catch block. And the next question is, what is throws clause? The Java throws keyword is used to declare an exception. It gives an information to the programmer that there may occur an exception, and it is better for the programmer to provide the exception handling code so that the normal flow of the program can be maintained. In the Java, the throws clause is used to method the declarations to indicate that the method might throw one or more specific types of exception during its execution, but it does not handle those exceptions itself. It delegates the responsibility of handling the exceptions to the caller of the method. The example of the throws of clause. In this example, the read file method is declared with the throws IO exception clause, indicating that it might the throw an IO exception during its execution. Inside the read file method, we intentionally throw an IO exception using the throw keyword to simulate a situation where the file is not found. In the main method, when we call read file, we wrap the call within a try catch block to handle the IO exception that might be thrown by the read file method. However, the IO exception is not caught inside the read file method itself. It is declared using the throws clause in the method signature. Using the throws clause allows the method to indicate the potential exception it might throw, providing better clarity to the caller about the exception they need to handle. The next question is, what is the utility of the finally block? Finally block. Java finally block is always executed whether an exception is handled or not. It contains all the necessary statements that need to be printed regardless of the exception occurs or not. And the example of the finally block. First is class test finally block. Public static void main string argument, and next is a try block contains code that might throw an exception. Here an arithmetic operation is performed 25 by 5 divided 5 which does not throw any exception. The result of the operation is printed system.out.println data. This catch block is designed to handle null pointer exception, but since no such exception occurs, it won't be executed. This finally block is always executed regardless of whether an exception occurs or not. It is typically used for the cleanup code or tasks that must be performed regardless of exceptions. The code outside the try catch finally blocks is executed after the finally block. Finally block is always executed. The output shows the result of the division operation 5 followed by the execution of the finally block and then the statement outside the try catch finally blocks.